when you're around the master, you can get showered by all of these abilities. The angels will
Right.
shower you and bestow you with all of that, but then that is not the point. You
Mhm.
have to go to the self. That is, you have to
Yes.
basically drop your ego. What Tom says, drop the fear and become
Yes.
love. That really resonated. And I guess the talk which he gave, the softer side of MBT.
Yes. I mean, that's why the name of the podcast is Becoming Love, because
Love.
there's
Yeah.
so much to talk about within his theory, but it's really about how it influences our lives. And in that process of lowering our own entropy, getting rid of fear, ego, beliefs, and becoming love.
As you get rid of your fear, that's what you naturally are, who you truly are.
Welcome to Becoming Love, a podcast about consciousness, growth, and what it actually means to live these ideas in real life.
Okay, welcome everyone. Today's guest on Becoming Love is Anant. Welcome, Anant.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
It is. It's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you for being part of this project. So today we are going to be exploring how MBT has impacted our lives. And I know this is going to be a great one because you've got some beautiful things to share. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's start with that. So my name is Anant. I'm from India, Bangalore in India. Most of the population which lives here, I'm also having the background of a software engineer. Uh, the there's this famous saying, I guess, in America, you got Bangalore. Basically, you got replaced for a cheap labor in India who doing the same.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah. But yeah, I've done my. I'm an engineering graduate, and I've been uh, working in the tech sector for 20 years. I worked at initially many years at tech sector on those Nokia phones, iPhones, as well as worked in a startup. I was at the world's number one physical retailer till last. Uh, I left that company now last 9 months ago. So I was the that was the Fortune One company. I think now it's a Fortune Two company. So yeah, I was working for the tech division there, and yeah, mostly tech driven. Right now, I'm pursuing a startup and some training also. Other than that, from the spiritual perspective, 20 years ago when I was very young, as I was mentioning. Funny enough, yeah, when I had hair, that's on my head,
We all
not not
change.
around not around my not around my chin. So so yeah, it's kind of gone into the opposite direction. Yeah, so that's when I had uh, introduction to spirituality when uh, I was on the road where this organization called the Art of Living. It's one of the major organizations present in 160 odd countries, started by Gurudev Sri Ravi Shankar. There was a technique called the Sudarshan Kriya. Did that, opened up a lot of perspective, deeper perspective for me. Uh, brought up in a very relatively what you would call a traditional Indian family with a lot of religious beliefs.
Okay.
Had quite a bit of baggage to shed for even the wisdom of a wise, loving being like Gurudev Sri Ravi Shankar to kind of find its acceptance in my limited space initially. And so yeah, that kind of, because love speaks louder than intellect anytime. So
Mm.
the love kind of peeled away the junk and the beliefs, the rigidity over a period of time. And so then I also learned, because it was so profoundly impacting me. I realized volunteering is a good thing to do, and reaching out to young people, because when I got it at when I was 20, I realized that uh, this is the best thing that has happened to me ever. Right, like
Wow.
it kind of opened my eyes. uh, because once you start learning how to meditate, do the Sudarshan Kriya, get into a very deep meditative state. Uh, once you come out of that, you're like fully de-stressed, and that's when you have a different perspective of the world also, and because you're naturally less stressed, and the whole world itself becomes better for you. uh, I think Tom speaks to this in terms of, he was mentioning in one of the podcasts that somebody was taking some drug, and they somehow felt the whole world is gotten somehow better. So it's just that the person per se is having less stress and less whatever, has chemically induced significant less stress. They're
Yes.
not stable. That's when they say love, the whole world is slightly better than what they usually thought.
And
So
so
but yeah,
you were able to touch that
yeah.
altered state through meditation.
Yes, all the state. So that's when I realized, okay, that's when I realized I need not be so stressed about my studies, and like, okay, subsequently my marks improved, uh, gathered more courage, and all of that, right? Like life was significantly better
Okay.
internally, I would say. Out externally, the chaos would anyways be there at
Mhm.
work and all of that. So that was there. But then I kind of reconciled, and also started teaching this somewhere in 2008 2009. There was a training which I went through, was rigorous, but yeah, it was fun. And I for many years I've been going to colleges and trying to convince, not convince per se, speaking to the fact that meditation is something which youngsters should invest in, and at least even for whatever purposes you're in a college, say
Right.
good grades and all of that. Why it's very natural, but because your the breath, there is a deeper connection between your breath and your emotions, right? Like when you're very happy, your incoming breath is very prominent. Like how do you smell a rose?
Mm.
You're very sad, like you're like outgoing breath is very prominent, and you're very
Right.
angry, the breath is very different, right? So
Yes.
so how you emote, the breath follows. The reverse is also true. So when you learn how to pattern, when you learn how to breathe in certain patterns,
Mhm.
the reverse also happens, that your brain waves and the state of being changes, the state of mind changes. I would say from once, now that I see that, these are again tools where the physiology or whatever, the avatar of ours
Mhm.
kind of relaxes,
Yes.
uh, the consciousness comes through. So now it's slightly from a different perspective, it is there. But for layman, this is the perspective that you breathe, and then breathe in certain patterns, and then it changes your brain waves, and you're naturally in a less stressed state, and whatever you want to do, you would be able to do better. So that I invested a lot of my personal time doing that. Uh, and I still teach the workshop typically around 3 4 days of the workshop. It's a standard which is there with the Art of Living. It's called the Happiness Program,
Okay.
and so that is what I was doing for many years.
Mhm.
And the rigidity to some extent, which was there, as I was mentioning, from whatever religious beliefs, that continued to be there for a long duration. And one thing which kind of loosened it up was one experience. I learned this. It was inside the Art of Living ashram itself. One of our teachers is relatively famous. He's written a few books. His name is Khurshid Batliwala Baba. Uh, he's from IIT, and he's got his own YouTube channel with uh, relatively big following. So he had invited me to one workshop for this technique called EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique.
Okay. Yep.
I don't. It's at the surface level, it seems absolutely absurd, right? You just tap at one place,
Happen.
like
Yeah.
this, yeah, tap at various places, and
Yep.
then you're speaking out whatever you're experiencing.
Yes.
And for me, I have had issues with my stomach right from I think around seventh standard. uh, I had amoebic dysentery, then I had hemorrhoids and colitis and whatnot. I've been a
Wow.
lot into Ayurveda and trying to heal myself. I'd learned this technique called the craniosacral therapy, and I
Yes.
uh, right now only my wife is the beneficiary of it, but because
Here.
it takes a long time to work on it. But yeah, had taken that up and everything. But when I learned this technique, and I thought I felt okay. A lot of people had that experience, and then I thought, let me try this out, because I had done quite a bit to get rid of my stomach issues and everything.
Okay.
And then I did it for a month or so, just like without any expectations and everything. Then I suddenly realized this stomach sensitivity has gone down drastically, and then I
Oh,
started doing it properly. Then suddenly a memory kind of came up when I was on a very small and I was on a giant wheel per se, and there was some sort of fear which kind of gotten into my, probably my intestines maybe, uh, and then I realized, oh, there's so much more to learn other than just doing serving and getting people to be. That's if I want to heal, I need to understand the psychology also.
okay.
And then I realized, okay, this is you're as you're just speaking about whatever you're experiencing, the emotion which you're experiencing, and then you're tapping, you are just releasing the, what do you call it, the intensity of the
Yeah.
uh, emotional experience which you're holding, and the tapping really helps let that impression which you're holding inside your nervous system uh,
Right.
uh, reduce its intensity. And then I had started around I used to travel those days for my office on a regular basis, so I realized that, okay, when I'm driving, I can listen to podcasts were just starting to begin to
Yeah.
catch up. It was mostly audible, right? Then
Yeah.
and I read Michael Singer, The Untethered Soul.
Oh,
So yeah, so that was one amazing opening for me, and that kind of peeled one more layer. And then one more interesting one was At Zero by this Joe Vitale. This Vitale,
I don't know.
it's about Zero Limits by Joe Vitale.
Okay.
It is the famous prayer of Ho'oponopono. I don't
Yeah,
know whether you heard it. It's a
I've
shaman
heard
prayer.
of it. Yeah, I can't recite it for you. I
Yeah.
feel like I know it as a song.
So it's so simple, and I got influenced by the story of it, right? Like that the Dr. Hewlin, and he just did the healing of the, what, not healing, just let go of the emotions which he's experiencing,
Mhm.
using the metaphor of Ho'oponopono, when he came across the files of these criminals he was looking at, and then those
Oh,
guys healed. Then I realized this is something which I have heard from my masters so many years ago, and at that time it didn't make sense at all, right? Like, and then he would say, there is this Indian scripture called Ashtavakra Gita. This Ashtavakra is a saint who is, Ashta means eight, Vakra means twisted. A saint who's twisted at eight spaces in his body, right?
okay.
Like, so he gives the wisdom of the self to a king, Janaka, who is a who kind of is seeing a dream and waking up, where he is seeing his prosperous kingdom all gone due to drought and whatnot, and he's suffering in the dream and feeling miserable. And once he wakes up, oh, then he realizes it's a dream, and then he asking the question, what is the guarantee that this specific reality which I'm in is also not a dream? And nobody is able to satisfy him. And then when this Ashtavakra sage comes in, and he gives him the wisdom of this uh, of knowledge of self per se. It is
Yeah.
very much MBT-ish, right? So it is like the ancient metaphor for MBT. So it's a conversation, back and forth questioning and everything. But
Yes.
there is one Ashtavakra, and there is one more called Yoga Vashishta. So all of these are deeper aspects, and which typically get into a category what is called as Vedanta, right? And
Right.
uh, there is a saint called Vyasa, who was there during the time of Mahabharata. That Mahabharata is like in India it's called the Great War of India, right? And then it is there are structures right now found in near the sea, uh, in this state called Gujarat. Uh, it kind of dates pretty much around whatever 5200 years ago, when this kind
Okay.
of event happened and all of that.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's pretty famous. It's what we call as itihasa, it happens so, or history for us here in India.
Okay.
And during that time, this sage who was there, who was pretty much part of this whole Mahabharata and everything, he wrote this scripture of Mahabharata, and he wrote the famous Bhagavad Gita, the divine song.
Okay.
So it's one of the most famous scriptures per se, or but it's again a metaphorical conversation. Uh, Not metaphorical. I don't know whether it's metaphorical or whatever it is. Descriptive conversation between Arjuna, who is in a battlefield, and Krishna, who is the embodiment of uh, all the divine qualities, you would say. So
Okay.
people use him as relate to him as God here, but then there is this whole scriptural this thing that, oh, he is just like, people consider Jesus as God.
Yeah.
But then he says, if you read Bhagavad Gita, you realize that he's just having a conversation, very natural conversation, which is very spiritual, just like what Tom is speaking about. But just then, obviously, just like there are miracles around. I've seen which happen, like miracles in the sense the internal miracles. It would happen with people around him those days, so many years ago, right?
Right.
Miracles which happened around my guru, Sri Ravi Shankar. So
Mm.
same thing people have described used to happen around Krishna and all of that. And so that all of this I realized eventually, moving ahead, the Ho'oponopono, I use that practice of Ho'oponopono for releasing the negativity which I was experiencing around 2019, 2020,
Okay.
especially in the office where uh, I was not satisfied with the way things are moving, and the ego wants recognition which it was not
Mhm.
getting, and all of that, right? I was realizing that I need to let go of the negativity which I am experiencing, because other people who are there, they're just messengers, because they're probably not even bothered about you, what's
Right.
happening in your life, right? The most important in everybody's life is themselves. So you think they are plotting, there's that, it's absolute waste of time. Let me just let go of the negativity, and which I did, and miraculously things kind of turned around, and I landed up with a better job, and all of that. And I realized this works, right? Like there's no
Right.
absolutely no point in holding on to negativity against a person or whatever. I mean, all of this has been, by the way, I've not only been taught in Art of Living, like more than a decade ago or something like that. But I always used to realize it takes time to absorb it, right? Like one
In
of
your
the
own life, you mean? Like observe
yeah,
it. And yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Because the thing is, one of my one of the sutras, or the aphorisms of what I would teach along with the Sudarshan Kriya was acceptance, right? Accept people and situations as they are. So
Right.
it's I realized that it's got so much depth in it, and it takes its own sweet time to come to acceptance, accepting
Yeah.
people, including accepting yourself, right?
Yes.
Including all the negativity which you experience, as well as what apparently you attribute people to be
Right.
delivering to you, but you actually, it is your interpretation which is
Your own
giving you
creation, in a sense. Yes.
creation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So,
that's, yes.
so at this point, were you familiar with Tom's work? You'd
I'll
mentioned,
tell you,
and
I had ran into Tom's work around 2017 sometime, when I was excited about this, the whole, what do you call, Stargate project,
oh yeah,
uh, right? All of that. I was, but then in 2017, because I had not gone through the inner transformation for through all of these other books, for
hmm
me to be ready and to be open to what Tom was speaking, and that didn't happen till 2020 or 2021, I think. Okay.
okay,
So what drew me to Tom again, initially I had heard like two or three, because I wanted something to, when I initially ran into him, I was wanting somebody who would share their esoteric experiences from the non-physical.
Right. Okay.
Right. And Tom would never do that.
Yes.
Tom would use metaphors of
Sure.
virtual reality and all of that. I was like, what is he speaking about? And he's using just computer metaphors, as like
Right.
computer language. How he's thinking that the whole life is a computer. That's so stupid. That's the initial whatever 5-10 minutes of Tom which I heard. And
Oh,
one of the things about Tom is that he is very uh, uh, he doesn't have a variation in his voice. He
yes.
delivers it really
Yes.
bad.
He's very calm and steady.
But yeah, I would say
Not too
so.
much intonation.
Yeah, so
You
that's
weren't like, nothing was really like, nothing sparked at
yeah,
that.
nothing sparked. And
Yeah.
then in 2020, I was following this guy called Stephen Schwartz. He was doing this remote viewing uh, project called uh, I think remote viewing 2060 or something like that.
Yeah. 2050
And
or
then
2060. Yeah.
2060, both he had done both 2050 and then he had done
Okay.
2060.
Yeah.
And there was a conversation with Tom regarding this, and that's when I felt, oh, he has got a interesting perspective
Oh,
on this. How does the remote viewing work and all of that? Then I followed him for few more podcasts maybe, and then what really clicked eventually is I was also following one more spiritual teacher, and then he was mostly from this whole Advaita and your Kashmiri Shaivism, but he was from, I think he was from UK.
okay.
So that podcast when it happened, I was, because of natural inclination of mine, I was inclining towards what this person would say. Uh, so and but then I, because Tom's metaphors were still computer science-ish and everything, I had a feeling because of my beliefs that Tom's metaphors are good, but the Indian scriptures and all of that, because of my ego association, are superior per se.
Uh,
And then what happened was, during the conversation, I saw uh, the difference in the way the conversation would happen between them, between Tom and this spiritual
other.
person,
Okay.
the other person. And I saw there is a little bit of disturbance when asserting himself from this other person. So that kind of reminded me of this uh, famous, what do you call, discussion between the ancient Vedanta teacher called Shankaracharya. This was around, he was there around 2000 years ago. So there's
Okay.
this famous story that they would have a debate on the Vedanta,
Yep.
and this other person's wife, who was also a scholar, would be the judge of this debate. And eventually she made not her husband but the other person, that is the Shankaracharya, the winner of this debate. And then the winner was decided by the fact that the flowers on the garland which was worn by Shankara had not worn out, whereas what her husband was wearing had worn out. That would have shown the heat and the resistance her husband is having when he's arguing, and this other person was just being centered enough when putting forth his argument. That means the
Wow.
conviction the person is having within himself or herself is more important than the argument itself. And
Mm,
the flowers being fresh kind of represented the conviction inside from which has been spoken, because the arguments can always be turned around in any way you want.
right.
I saw that
That
happen.
anger and that inner heat just wilted the flowers. And so that's a really obvious way of like seeing the manifestation in the physical of something going on at a deeper level.
Yes, and that's what I saw there, right, in this podcast.
And that's what
I
you saw in
saw
Tom. So if Tom was wearing the flowers, his flowers would have been fresh and vibrant. Okay.
so that's what I saw. I mean, obviously facial expressions also, right? I saw
Yes,
that
you were picking up on the energetics of the
energetics
two
exactly.
speakers.
Then I realized, oh, even though I had this belief, I realized that Tom is the real deal,
Mm,
right? And
Okay.
then I dive deeper, and then I listened to podcast, and slowly it started clicking. Then I realized, oh my God, all his metaphors are exactly what has been mentioned in Vedanta. Is just that those are different metaphors. What Tom uses is a modern metaphor.
Yeah.
That's when it kind of, once I kind of reconciled all of this, everything started falling in place, right? To an extent that so many things which I had heard, and from the scriptural side and everything, from Vedanta, everything started falling in place. That, oh, this is what it means. What is, like, for example, the very famous word Maya,
Hmm.
which is there in what you
Illusion.
call as this, yeah, Hinduism, the Buddhism, everywhere, right? People think it's illusion, but it is not illusion. It literally means virtual reality, actually.
Really?
Yeah, that's what it is. You can just think of it, right? Like, okay,
Yes.
Maya, actually, that Maya means virtual reality, right? Like,
Yes.
it's a
Yeah.
rendered reality. They didn't have the words then to describe it's a virtual reality. That's
Yes.
what they will use
Exactly.
Maya. But then, because it is non-physical and it's difficult to describe, because only people who had the access to beyond what you would call the veil of physical body, from the
Right.
consciousness perspective, can speak about it. Oh, it's Maya and everything. But then people who are in this side, it is very difficult to reconcile that, and then
Mhm.
they would have to give limited words or whatever, and uh, see it from a perspective of belief.
Yeah. So
So
that's beautiful that you're able to then bridge these different frameworks and realize that they're saying the same things, just using different language. And Tom really satisfies the logical mind. So it allows us
totally.
to have, it sounds like you were having these experiences though, for many years. So you were seeing it and feeling it in your life, but Tom brought a different piece to that. Then it, do you want to speak a little bit about that?
Yeah. So what because of the beliefs which I would carry, it wouldn't allow me to see through a lot of things, right? Because beliefs are unconscious,
Hmm.
and the judgment which comes in, it's so natural, typically, which is there. And then you, most importantly, you have the identity association, right? Like,
Right.
I identify as a person belonging to a specific religion, and
Yes.
right, even though when I had heard my master Gurudev, Sri Ravi Shankar, had told ages ago that, the religion is like the banana peel, and the spirituality is like banana, right? So, I used to quote him a lot, but never really kind of reconciled that, because I still had that identity. And
Right. Was it like, how do I get to the banana though? Like, yeah.
I had experienced the banana. There, I realized I had replaced the religious belief set with, oh, he is my guru belief set, right?
Okay.
I kind of realized that, and in that, I had missed out on the wisdom he was offering, but I latching to a different identity of a disciple.
Mm. Which in Tom's model, it's very clean and very clear. Yeah.
So,
It's,
with regards to Tom's model, right, I realized that how it kind of falls in place is that,
yes, you should.
all the metaphors which he uses, right, like the different, like, if you just have to understand all realities, not just this physical matter reality, as well as the what you call as non-physical matter reality,
Mhm,
as rendered realities to consciousness,
mhm.
right? And then he had all of the metaphors, right? Like, you have got the larger consciousness system, which then splits itself into the rendering engine, as well as uh, the consciousness itself, which
Mhm.
splits into the individuated unit of consciousness,
Right.
which then further spawns a free will awareness unit, which hooks onto the specific rendering of this game, where it is decided on the experience packet which it would go
Like,
through.
yes.
Yeah. And then the physical avatar which it would get, right? So called physical, but then, yeah, in
Yes.
Tom's words, it's a rendered one, or a virtual one. So I realized all of this has a parallel. It because these words are something which we natural English language, and uh, there is the whole computer science metaphor, which kind of is close to me because it's my profession.
Right. Yes.
Uh, then that kind of reconciled with all the ancient metaphors, right? Like, okay, larger consciousness system is what the scripture calls as Brahman, right?
Mhm.
Which then splits uh, into two, what in the scriptures they call as Prakriti and Purusha. Prakriti is the virtual reality rendering aspect of the larger consciousness system.
Okay.
Purusha is the undivided, unindividuated unit of consciousness, right? Purusha. And then in the scriptures they give it a physical name, and what do you call, uh, physical name and physical form, so that it is easier to for people to cognize, but uh,
Right. Can you
people
give
take it
some
literally.
examples of that?
Huh?
Can you
Example, yeah, for example,
Yeah.
it's Vishnu and Lakshmi, right?
Okay.
Vishnu is the Purusha, and Lakshmi is the divinity which is responsible for all the material aspects. So, for example, Vishnu is the consciousness, and Lakshmi is the material wealth. So,
NPMR and PMR.
PMR, yeah,
Yeah.
NPMR and PMR, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, no, this is not NP. This is not an NPMR and PMR. So this is
Oh,
slightly above, right? Like, this is the initial differentiation of consciousness and the rendering consciousness,
oh, I see.
right? Do you
Okay.
see this? So there is
So
the whole
AUO
consciousness.
and AUM in
Yeah.
Tom's terms?
So consciousness. Tom says that the large LCS
Yep.
uh, provisions itself as the rendering aspect as well as the experiencing the rendering aspect, right?
Yes.
So, for
Yes.
example, I can say it like this: one piece becomes like uh, the consciousness piece is internal. There is memory and everything here,
Uh-huh.
and then from here it comes up, and there is a virtual reality which is rendering.
Yep.
So I don't know. It's like a concentric spheres instead of a concentric circles. You can say
Okay.
in a very crude way.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking about a diagram. Probably I can. I'll have to make something up and then
Yes,
uh,
that would be fun to share.
share sometime. Yeah. So uh, I would say then that aspect is in the Indian scriptures is called Purusha and Prakriti. The Brahman, larger consciousness system,
Okay.
splitting itself, provisioning itself into the rendering aspect, where all the initial realities are rendered,
Mhm.
what Tom calls as the chat reality,
Oh, yes. Okay.
right? And
Yep.
then there is the Purusha, which is the experiencing part of the chat reality, and then it splits. The Purusha is split into individuated unit of consciousness, right?
Yep.
So this is there is an equivalent to that is in the scriptures is called the Atman.
Okay.
Yeah. And then this aspect again spawns a free will awareness unit. This in scripture is called the Jiva,
Okay.
right? The one which experiences the aspect of consciousness which experiences the rendered physical matter reality, whatever it is called, right?
Mhm.
And then so and then the what do you call, the avatar is obviously the avatar. In scriptures, typically avatar is kind of a reserved word for a low entropy being taking a uh, uh,
Form.
avatar per se, right, to play, right? So in
Yes.
scriptures, that's in India, avatar is typically associated with Krishna, Rama, and all of these. I would say low entropy beings, low entropy consciousness, which is hooking onto certain specific rendering per se, specific avatars, physical avatars, right?
Yes.
So, but then yeah. So again, we are the consciousness which is experiencing all of these experience packets. We call it
Mhm.
as lifetimes, and
Incarnations. Yeah.
yeah, and then I guess the whole karma, I realize is that the problem with the word karma is that it is one word for so many things.
Mm. I feel
It,
like, yeah, there's often a misinterpretation, at least here in the Western world. It's thrown around in ways that I feel like I don't think it's really what it means, or we don't have a full understanding of it.
it's typically used for some escapism or something bad happens to
Right.
you. You use it for that, right? And then uh, ideally, there is in the scriptures they say there are three types of it, right? Like there are three perspectives of it. One is sanchita karma, that is your accumulated karma, which is
Okay.
associated with the what you call as the past. Like Tom, one of the major I guess commonalities between my master and Tom is
Yeah.
that they say time exists, like the past, present, and future. It
Yes.
is there. It is there. It's an aspect of the reality.
Yes.
And lot of then lot of people says that, oh, time doesn't really exist. Everything exists at together at once. But both of them, they say no. It is time is it's an
Right.
aspect, right? Like it's just that the passage of it is different at different realities.
Right.
Uh,
But in
so
order for us to have free will choice, we have to have time, right? Before the choice and then outcome after, right? Yeah.
exactly.
So it is key.
It's key for the simulation to work, right?
Yeah.
So karma has like three. One, like the one is the sanchita, what you have accumulated. Like literally, it is like the impressions which you have accumulated, or you would say any time you playing a avatar, you are experiencing tremendous resistance to the experience,
Mhm.
what experience you're having. That is when you are not able to. That becomes what you call as an impression. Either it
Okay.
can be an expansive experience or a contracting experience, right? Like
Okay.
the expansive experience is a low entropy experience, and
Right.
the contractive experience is a high entropy experience, you can say so, right?
Yeah, that's
And
beautiful.
that the literal metaphor, the word for that in the scriptures here is the papa and punya, sin as well as good deeds,
Okay.
crudely translated, right?
Yeah.
Sin is, what's a sin per se, then all of that. So
It's
low
something that
entropy
increases
choice,
entropy.
low entropy choice, and high entropy choice.
Exactly. Yes.
So all of that kind of, all of these metaphors kind of fall in place. And
It takes like the judgment or the emotional charge out of it when we just are thinking in these terms of high entropy, low entropy.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's just either it's just gonna take you longer to get there or maybe
yeah,
straighter
yeah,
path.
exactly. Right. Then I
Yeah.
realized, okay, when we are doing all of the meditation and all of that, we are lowering the entropy of the small mind, the free will awareness units, awareness, whatever is
Yeah.
of just this realities metaphors, getting too attached to it, and having that identity, you're loosening that up. And that is when you've become a low entropy consciousness, and naturally the choices which you're making, as well as the intention which you're having,
Mhm.
is low entropy. So that's how you get into the low entropy. That's a hack. And so
It allows
that's
you to then see more opportunities, right? Rather than being in this constrained reality with so much noise, right? You get rid of the noise, the static, and you get a clear signal. And
very
then
much.
you are more aligned with the system as a whole that is moving towards low entropy. And then your
Yes,
choices come more naturally to be in line with that.
yes, yes, very much.
That's
So
beautiful.
yeah, so I realize all of this, right? Everything makes sense right now. And thanks to Tom's metaphors, and uh, uh, a lot of places, and like there's so much common between what my master keeps speaking and what Tom keeps speaking.
Can you go
uh,
back? Something happened when you said thanks to Tom, then we froze. So
yeah,
if you want to say thanks to Tom,
yeah, thanks to him, right? Like for bringing all of this metaphor, and being at it and putting out so much content for free,
right,
right?
right,
Like,
yeah,
and
I
answering so
appreciate
many questions.
the YouTube content is great because the books are amazing, but he really expands on concepts. Especially, I find my favorite things to listen to sometimes are the Q&As because people have a lot of really good questions, and it brings so much expansion to the theory.
Very much, very much. And it clears up a lot. So it's one of my favorite things to do. Whenever Tom puts out the Q&A with Donna comes, one of the things, first things I go first, like it, and then I listen to it.
Yeah.
Oh, this, that, and like, oh my God. And the fireside chat, all of that, right? Like
Yes.
it's that really has expanded my thinking like anything. Because but the thing is, you need that kind of a thought process, that kind of dedication to listen to him. Because uh, as Tom says, it's difficult to put your head around this theory also. Just
Yeah.
like right now it is very natural for us to understand the world is spherical, and sun is not moving around the earth, right?
Yeah.
It was very unnatural for people to think like that few
Right.
hundred years ago, but now it's very natural.
Yeah.
And just
It's a
like that,
belief structure to shift as a whole, as a collective.
yes, as a collective.
Yeah.
And so many other things, right? Uh, uh, my master used to be against, not against per se, he wouldn't prefer, he was like, there are courses he pushes for in prisons also. These are like, again, free ones. And then they typically have more time spent on the breathing technique and everything. Because
Mm,
he would say, as I was mentioning, that there is a culprit, behind every culprit there is behind every culprit there is a victim crying for help.
hmm,
And a lot of these prison programs which would happen, I guess, there is one Q&A with which happened, I think, in Norway, with all of these ex criminals and all of these people. And
wow.
how they would share their experiences. And even in India, right, he had sent uh, people to uh, go in these places where they would fight against the cops and the Naxals, they would call here. So I used to find it, why would you do that? Then once Tom says all of this, right, like, okay, I used to think, people who are doing bad things, they should be shot, right? Right.
Yeah.
I never agreed with him. Then when Tom explained it in a sense that, it doesn't matter if a person comes, and it is because we are consciousness. And uh, it is not about forcing somebody to do something,
Yeah.
killing some person. That is not going to change. We as a collective have to grow up.
Yes.
Collective have to reduce our entropy. uh, and it takes its time, but we are getting there. That's when I realized, oh, this is why he emphasizes so much on lowering the entropy of high entropy beings, when
Yes.
I thought the high entropy
Doing
beings
your
do not
personal.
deserve to be in this reality.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That was my thought process. And when Tom said it is, then it made total sense, right? We are here as collective to lower the entropy of ourselves, as well as and help each other.
Yes. Yes.
And
By lowering our own entropy, it helps everyone else.
yes, exactly.
We don't
Yeah.
all have to be going out and helping rehabilitate prisoners or things, right? Like,
Yeah. That's the
I,
first thing.
yeah.
That's the first thing you have to do, right?
Yeah.
And
The first thing is
first,
start.
lower your entropy. Only once, like once, and I realized that only once you have lowered your entropy can you even think of
Right.
being of service to others, right? Without that, is just a facade which you're
Yeah.
a facade you're playing around, and then you're
Yeah.
like,
Maybe
yeah,
you're doing
uh,
it because you think you should, or because you
but
want people to
you're
see you a
acting, you're not
certain way.
being.
Yes. You're acting, not being. Yes.
There was one question, my when initial one Q&A session with Tom I had joined.
Yep.
And one of my questions was this, that that I don't remember exactly, but the question was something like this. He was saying that it doesn't matter where you are born or whatever, any circumstances which you're given, you are always at the right place at the right time. And you, whatever the circumstances are, you're there to make choices and see how you can grow through those choices towards lower
Right.
entropy, right? And then I had this thought, that isn't it easier for me to make a uh, what do you call it can be a natural thing. Like growing up is not about being in specific places per se. Then I naturally had this question that, isn't it very easier to grow up in India versus a place like Afghanistan, where shooting people is not considered, not necessarily a major difficult thing to do. It is more, I mean, or say for that matter in Africa, but say it is more natural for them than in India, or probably in, I don't know, in in Europe or other, all of these other places. Aren't we per se lower entropy beings or whatever? Then his answer was, it's about being, it is not about doing. And if how would you it's about how would you behave if you were in that
Right.
specific position per se, right? And then that answer of his, right, like the being and the doing thing, that kind of made me realize that the whole thing is about intention, refining intention, and all of these aspects which I dive deeper into. uh, Karma literally word means action, but then behind the action
Mhm.
is really the intent,
Yeah.
right? So
What's
I
motivating
can
action?
act as if I am very kind, and I'm giving something to, giving food to people and everything, but am I acting from a space where I know that I have enough, or I'm acting from a space that if I give this, I will get a better place in heaven?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. What is the motivation behind it?
Yeah, what is your intent behind,
Yeah.
uh,
Because
intent
all
behind
of
your
that
action?
information is stored, right? It's all available. And that's where you are at the being level. Yeah. It
Yes.
doesn't matter what you're doing.
Doing, I
Yeah.
would say the doing is always a outcome of the intent you're anyways having.
Mhm.
But then you can make an act out of it, or you can genuinely do it,
You can
right? So
authentically.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes I feel like it's with if we have an intention and we are changing a behavior, sometimes it feels like acting a little bit at first because
yes, yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
new and maybe we're still shedding layers. But when the
Yes.
intention is truly to be becoming lower entropy, a better person, helping out, then it's there. Um,
Yeah, helps a lot. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you for
So
everything you're sharing. I wanted to ask you because you had alluded to the fact that that MBT just in general pointed out a few places where you could be more love, and I was just curious if you wanted to speak to an experience like that and let us know what it felt like or what did that look like? How did MBT point out some more of those places where you
yeah, yeah. So I'll tell you, in my once MBD came into picture, I had this false notion and belief that because I do yoga and meditation and everything, the ego kind of had played this trick on me, that somehow I am superior,
uh-huh.
and people who are not doing that are inferior.
Right.
uh, that included one of my loved ones also, right? Like not loved ones per
Yes.
se, one of my cousins who I was very close to. And but I kind of drifted apart because I held this position that I am doing meditation and all of that. This person is not into it. This person is smoking and uh, is uh, doing high, what you would term as high entropy things,
Sure. Behavior. Yes.
behavior, right?
Yeah.
All of that. And then I had so many judgments about, you know, I realized that the aspect of me used to think that people who are uh, relatively religious or following specific ways of life are superior, and certain people who are having certain habits are inferior. uh, so uh, it happened so that there was a family situation and everything, and I had been taken my parents around, and somehow it clicked for me that, at that specific moment, they were having a difficult time in their family and everything. I had connected with him again as had taken them, then I realized that is when something kind of internally clock shifted, and
Mm.
I started seeing uh, that I have not been loving.
Hmm.
I have been judging, right? Like I have been judging as if I am superior and they're inferior just because of certain behaviors. And this is absolutely not. This is just I've been fooling myself, uh,
Right.
or my ego wants to feel important and superior,
Yeah.
and more important than whatever that person is, for you to be loving. And I don't know, that kind of opened up, it was something very internal per se, and it opened up,
Sure.
or it kind of unveiled a kind of a escape mechanism my ego was kind of forming, and to make me feel superior.
Mhm.
And so
But how beautiful that
yeah,
you were able to see that and
yeah,
not push that away with
yeah,
more ego. Yeah.
yeah,
And it sounds like what you're speaking to is a beautiful sense of like self-awareness
yeah.
with
It's
clarity and truth.
the thing is, nobody can tell. I realized eventually that nobody can tell and you get it, right?
No,
Like tell about it and you can get it. It has to be the right place, right time, and it just has to click for you.
yeah,
And then
100%.
you say, "Oh my God,
Yeah.
I've been a fool." So this happened once the whole Tom thing happened for a year and a half. I just got addicted to Tom's Q&As and everything.
Mhm.
That kept opening up and unveiling a lot of things
Yeah.
for me. And I realized that one of the things I realized, like those days, it was like 3 years ago, right?
Okay.
And I realized that, oh my God, 17 years of what my master was speaking, I was not listening to what is being said, but what is convenient for me to listen to.
Right.
And both are telling the same thing and giving you the message that love is the way, love is the answer, and you never got it because of your own beliefs. And I realize that it is so difficult at times to see
Yeah.
your own, the ego, how it traps you.
Yes.
And and something which I kind of unwrapped in last 1 year was my MBT ego, right? Like, oh, I
Okay.
know how it works, I know how it functions, ego, and feeling superior per se in certain. That's when I realized, okay, because I eventually realized that, okay, how all of these rituals function and all of that, because a lot of people do it from a space of fear.
Yes.
And uh, then eventually as I realized that so many times it works for some weird reason, then I realized, okay, these are, as Tom says, these are tools. And there is the whole information system which has been built over thousands of years using these metaphors. And naturally there would be certain, what do you call, aspects which are passed on to you, uh, as well as there is this aspect of consciousness playing different avatars at different times also, where you would have experienced those metaphors in your earlier lifetimes.
Okay.
So that kind of resonates, that metaphor kind of resonates quicker. So the kirtan is that, right? Like, for example, what you're mentioning in our earlier conversation also is that, when you're singing and dancing, um, uh,
Oh, we were speaking about like a devotional practice.
devotional practice,
Yeah,
right?
and feeling
uh,
like the joy in it, but not resonating with the devotional aspect of it.
Aspect.
And then,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I realize for the for people, most of the world, right, who do not have I would say 99% of the world is right brained, to be honest, right? Like the intellect really, and even for ourselves, right? Most, as Tom says, our lives are mostly driven by emotions. We do not put logic in our 90% of the time, right? Like I cannot be logical with my daughter, right? So,
yeah,
so it's and most of like my wife, even though she's having an engineering background, she's totally a right brain person right now, right?
right.
So that's how most of us are. and that is what the beauty of life is.
Hmm.
And for people who do not have that intellectual curiosity, these are wonderful tools per se to hang on to and to use as a metaphor for surrendering. So you can use uh, uh, what do you call idol or ideal uh, deity or whatever it is. They
Yes.
are actually metaphors for what you otherwise would find it difficult to give a name or whatever, because we understand things in terms of names and forms.
Right. So without that, it's too abstract. And then we're not able to focus our intent, which means we may not then be able to influence probabilities or, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
It's an
something I
interesting.
realized, right? Like I used to feel superior about it, like I understand all of this, and then I realized, oh, that's again my ego
Yeah.
coming in between, right? Like I'm
Right.
thinking I'm superior because I have this intellectual understanding.
Yeah.
And I remembered, because one of my favorite discussion series of Tom was this whole Monroe Institute discussions of his. The 2017 or 2018 versions of it were taken off. I had actually created a playlist of both
Oh,
of them. The 2016 version still remains. The 2018 versions, they've made a smaller videos, and it's part of the whole uh, uh, the sound wise, what is it called,
oh yeah.
uh,
The course.
consciousness. Yeah, the course, right?
Yes.
It's
Okay.
mostly from that. Actually, it is the course with the binaural beats, right? What is it called?
Yes. Where he
uh,
teaches remote viewing and healing. That
Yes,
one?
exploring
Yes.
consciousness with
Right.
exploring consciousness and larger reality with Tom Campbell. So
Yes.
that
Yes.
one
I do that one. Okay.
actually is mostly an extract from his talks from the Monroe Institute, especially from the 2018 one.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
I had listened to it before and created a playlist before it was the 2018 one was taken off. And I remember at end of the workshop, um, Tom says, after describing all whatever the places where you get stuck and complete detail of the most detailed talks you would ever get to understand anything esoteric, I would say. The master class in everything uh, uh, consciousness related, as well as the, I think, to be honest, the the distilled version is good, very very good. But if you get to somehow grab all of the Monroe Institute talks, it is something else. It is, but again, it's not small. It is really really long, and
Yes.
you have to
That
be
was
totally
immersive, I imagine. So there was just
extremely
a lot,
immersive.
hours
Yes,
and hours of content. Yeah.
hours and hours. I did not just did that hours and hours. I did went into detail. And coming back to the point, at the end of it, Tom says, I'm doing this because I was asked. I always say that if it's not your experience, it's not your reality, and people ask me, and I'm supposed to help. And I don't typically do not like to give a technique per se and all of that per se.
Yeah.
But then I was doing that. But if you ask me, is it important to know all of this, do remote viewing and all of this, do you do if do have all of these abilities and all of this esoteric stuff, is it important? Probably, but is it necessary? No.
No.
uh,
Yeah.
what is important is you get rid of your fear and become love. So
Yes.
yeah, in
Yeah.
India, there is a prayer called the Guru Puja, where we are expressing gratitude towards all the masters or whatever,
Okay.
people who have given us wisdom on consciousness at different point of time, which kind of helps us lower the entropy per se.
Yeah.
So in that, it says what the word uh, uh, in India is the Sanskrit word for that is siddhim, siddhim with a tenisham. So the siddhim literally means perfection. But then he says, when you are inside when you are around the wise people, the low entropy beings, you once you basically you lower your entropy, and then you will be
Hmm.
lured by all of uh, the aspects of consciousness which comes to when you get special ability to influence this physical matter reality,
Hmm.
right? You can, see remotely. Probably you can
Right.
understand what other people are thinking.
Yeah, we get enamored by all of the psi abilities.
I abilities,
Yes,
exactly.
but it's not the point.
Yes, it's not
The
the point.
point
It's the point.
is, yeah.
To go get into, so that's what it says also, right? When you're around the master, you get you can get showered by all of these abilities. The angels will
Right.
shower you and bestow you with all of that, but then that is not the point. You
Mhm.
have to go to the self. That is, you have to
Yes.
basically drop your ego. What Tom says, drop the fear and become love. And yeah, that really resonated. And I guess that the talk which he gave, the softer side of MBT.
Yes, right? I mean, that's why the name of the podcast is Becoming Love, because
Love,
there's
yeah.
so much to talk about within his theory, but it's really about how it influences our lives, and in that process of lowering our own entropy, getting rid of fear, ego, beliefs, and becoming love.
And that's the thing is, as you get rid of your fear, that's what you naturally are, right? Like
Yes.
that's who you truly are.
Yes.
And it is not something which is, which is not native to you. We as
Right.
consciousness have natively have that ability to be
Yeah.
love. Yeah,
Comes naturally when you clear away the fear.
yeah.
Yeah, then all your choices are coming from that place of love. And it's interesting that we can have these experiences, like you were saying, in the presence of a master, or right, and maybe it just is that something that like cracks you open a little bit to believe, or to be curious, or to have an experience where you then it, but it doesn't end there. It
Yeah.
continues with you in your
Yes,
own life, making your
yes,
choices.
yes, yes.
Well, that's a beautiful, beautiful note to end on. I would just love for you to share, if there's any way people can connect with you, because I think that you are offering, is it the Art of Living you were saying? Is that what you?
Yeah. I'm one of the faculties of Art of Living, so I need not be with me also, right? Like I would
Okay.
largely encourage people to find the nearest Art of Living and do the physical program, uh,
Okay.
because
And
when you
it's
do in a
global,
group,
yes?
yes, it's there
Yes.
globally.
Okay, so
Uh,
we'll link to that.
it's there in 160 odd countries, so I guess shouldn't be find you shouldn't have it very far away from you, because that the practice, when once there are virtual ones also, but then when you do it, the physical ones, it's something else. And if you have kids who are what do you call, below the age of 18, the Art of Living also offers the intuition program, right? Like where all of the psi abilities of children, they are opened up to
Mm,
uh, these abilities, initially closing, what do you call, having blindfold and recognizing
Mindsight,
all
or
the components.
yes.
Yeah. And
Okay.
I see that my daughter does all of this. My wife teaches the program also, and I'm probably going to be a teacher of that. But then that's
Amazing.
definitely a physical class, like you
Yes.
have to find the
Okay.
class nearest to you. And I these days there's this, the whole telepathy tapes going viral.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
that's been big for the collective.
I think it has been focusing on only autistic children, but I think
Yeah.
the now I guess there's this new wave of children coming, because I saw even children right now. There is the new level 2 which is introduced, where they were able to do the telekinesis, that they
Yes.
were able to bend the spoons also. And
Yeah.
when my wife was conducting the first one of the first workshops in Bangalore, they bought spoons, and they thought they can use that for the next one, and they were, to their surprise, all of the kids were able to bend the spoon at least
Wow.
a little bit. And then they eventually tried to figure out, oh, what's really changing. They could see the temperature changing and everything. It would take around 15 minutes for them to bend the spoon and everything. And
Okay.
so all of this, the abilities, it's again, these I realize these abilities are just to help them channelize their intent
Yeah.
and make them understand that they are consciousness, and they have more power to them, rather than just because our education system, the modern education system, is about putting information in your mind, and then your ability to recall it
Yes,
was the
exactly.
prize position. And
Yes.
with AI disrupting everything around this whole education system drastically,
Yeah.
now
Because it
intuition,
limits their beliefs, and therefore their capabilities. they only study the five senses, right? Like
Yes.
there are many more senses. And then the beautiful piece is the translation then I'm seeing between, if they see that they're able to affect a spoon, then they are also able to affect the world, themselves, other people, right? And then they start to see it's not about bending spoons, like but
Exactly. The
that
bending skills is for
one.
you to understand that your
Yeah.
intent has so much power.
Yes. Oh, I love this. Thank you for sharing. So we'll link to that, The Art of Living. And Anant, this has been wonderful. And if you have visuals to share, because you mapped a really beautiful connection there between Tom's vocabulary and I guess Hinduism or Vedanta. So
Yeah.
I think it would be really, really neat to have that. So maybe we'll add that at some point as well.
Sure, Donna. Yeah.
Thank you for your time today. Do you
Thanks for
feel
having me.
complete? Yeah. Is there anything else you want to end on? I think that was a
No, I would say, as Tom says, we all, whosoever is probably listening to this, also is a fan of Tom, and I would like to say, we all are here in this game together, this simulation together. Let's all help each other and to lower our own entropy and learn from each other's experiences. And one of the wise things, like my master says, one of the things wise are the ones who are learning from others' mistakes, right?
yes.
And so that you don't have to do that mistake and learn it yourself. And also, if you learn from your own mistakes, it's then you become wiser. And you, if you're doing the same mistake again and again, you're really not growing up. And
Right.
mistake in the sense here is, again, high
Yes.
entropy decisions,
Yes.
the propensity towards fear, choosing fear over love. And yeah, so that is where I guess we are all in this whole game together, and we are all here to help each other and grow up.
So
So focus on that. Yeah. And
we could learn from not only our own feedback, but we can learn from the feedback that other people get, and we can just use it all to be an opportunity for learning.
yes,
Yeah.
few people, if they are, few people are, all people are always teaching us, right?
Mhm.
Few people are teaching us how to be, few people are teaching us not how to be,
Right. Yeah. Everything is an
at
opportunity.
their own expense, you can say. So yeah, so you can
Yeah.
thank them also, people who are high entropy are teaching you
Yes.
something.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you so much, Anant.
Yeah.
Wrap for today. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.